Hey guys, Philosopher here, and today I have my day 493 roster review. This is always one of my more popular videos. I do these every month or so by popular request, and what the purpose of these videos is to not to flex or to show off my roster, because first of all, who cares about that? And it's nothing to be proud of, but it's actually to kind of walk through with you guys what I've been working on over the last month, and then give you a sense of what upgrades have been useful for me, which upgrades I regret. You know, right now, my roster used to be really efficient, and, you know, one of these rosters that had no useless characters upgraded and, you know, was very lean. It's gotten, more bloated, so to speak, because I'm doing this content creation stuff now. I'm bringing up my roster for streaming purposes or to make videos. And I'm also in a bigger alliance. I used to be at a lower level. Now I'm in a Diamond Alliance. And so I'm bringing everything up that's new generally to Gear Tier 15, either for content creation purposes or for my alliance. So what I want to do is help you guys separate what should be upgraded, what I'm upgrading because it's actually moving the ball forward for me, and what I'm upgrading just to test out. And hopefully you guys can learn the benefit of what I've been doing. So, you know, this is, like I said, it's day 493. It was day 462 was my last roster review 31 days ago, so a little over a month ago. And I actually have increased, I will say I've increased from 14.27 to 15.17 million in a month. So under 1 million. And I have to say, this is actually me slowing down. I was at a pace of about 1.1 million a month. Now I'm slowing down a little bit, and it's because what I've been doing now, you know, I'm at the point with my roster where there's really nothing left to upgrade other than new characters that makes a difference or that moves the needle. And I'm at the point, unless I want to spend gear. In other words, I could bring up whether, let's say, Black Bolt to G15 or whatever, you know, Venom or something, but I don't really need to. It's not like I'm doing poorly in war offense or war defense or doing poorly in raids. I'm able to clear my lane every day in the Doom raid difficulty 1 and do well in the wars. So, you know, really it's just marginal upgrades, and I am saving up my gear. I will just show you. I've really hoarded a lot of gear. You know, if you look here, I have these completed pieces. I also have lots of these others. You know, I've got lots of, the catalysts. We can go here and you'll see I have a lot of SBCs stored up, even though I've been bringing up characters at G15 because I've just been, hoarding a lot of orange gear and only gearing up the new characters so that this way, I do believe Dark Dimension 5 is coming in the next month or two. This way I'll have a gear to deal with, depending on how much of the orange gear we're going to need for the Dark Dimension 5. So I'm being conservative right now and just focusing on leveling up characters to level 80 because that actually provides a substantial boost. That said, I have made some pretty substantial upgrades this month, and one of the two of the upgrades that I've made are right here. So I brought both Kestrel and Gamora to 7 red stars using gold promo credits. And the only reason I did that, just so you know, I mean, I still have a lot of gold promos left. I have 286 left. And so I felt like I had a bounty of riches. And I have to say, I think that Gamora was a waste. This was, my thought process as well. I'm so chintzy about these gold promos. I save them up so carefully. Might as well spend them when I've got the big damager on the big team. I had pulled 6 red stars on her long ago before she was a good character. And I thought, let's just take her up to 7. But man, I really haven't felt any difference. She doesn't seem like she does any better in the mirror match. The team already was big enough to destroy everything with her at 6 red stars. I just feel like this was a win more kind of move that I regret. It's the sort of thing. I don't care about EPing or numbers or any of that, so I think this was a waste. This has been more impactful in my mind. I mean, I just, mow everything down. I can tell the difference very easily going from 6 to 7 reds here. But you know what? I was already clearing my lane in Doom anyway. So it just makes it slightly easier. I don't change my team now between nodes and skill nodes. That's basically the main difference. Helps me a little bit in Alliance War, but this I do feel like this investment will stand the test of time better. So, as I've said before in videos, I would definitely recommend this over Gamora, just because I think Kestrel has got a kit that will be relevant even when her stats get power crept, because she prevents summons and clones and things like that, and all that out of turn damage. Good stuff there. I've also obviously gone hard on my Infinity Watch and really upgraded them. You guys have seen those in my videos. The last time I made this video 31 days ago, I hadn't unlocked Adam Warlock yet. I hadn't gotten the 7th yellow star on Phyla-Vell and Moondragon. But otherwise, this team is what it is. It's an amazingly powerful team. It's the best team in the game. I have a huge Infinity Watch team, 810K almost. It does anything I could possibly want. I did pull a 6th red star on Moondragon when I was trying to pull for Captain Sam. Very, very fantastic team. A lot of people are griping about Adam Warlock, saying he's not special enough or good enough. I've already had videos on that. Very strong character, very good character, and it's probably good for a lot of players in the game, newer players, that they can use Kestrel or Captain Sam or something else here and in the slot and do fine. But I'm happy with this team. Super overpowered team, probably too overpowered. Regarding Infinity Watch, I've been getting some people asking me, why should I bother with this team? I'm not a Infinity Watch. I'm sorry, Secret Avengers. People ask me, why should I bother with this team? And really, I think the best answer for why you should bother with this team is just that they are power crept, OP, super high stats, that sort of thing. That's really all I would say about them. They're just super power crept. Nothing more than that. I do think that Captain Sam is a character that is not only super amazing, better than I think a lot of people realize, but I think he is a character who is going to be highly relevant for a long time, because he gives all this speed bar, because he gives out ability energy on a pretty regular basis, and of course he's also very survivable and his stats are great and everything. So I think even when his stats, I think his kit will carry him when his stats, no longer do. I think he's going to be a character who's going to have a lot of value for a long time. I've had people tell me, well, you don't need him at 7 red stars. Maybe not. But it's sort of like, to me, in investing in a character like Red Guardian. I mean, if you could pull for Red Guardian 7 red stars, you tried to do it at the time. You tried to pull high on him because you knew he was going to last a long time. I do think Red Guardian will have lasting value. I think Captain Sam's going to have lasting value in the game, regardless of how good his team is. But I've had people asking me, do I really need to? Do I need to buy this team? You don't need to do anything in this game. It's just that right now, given the power creep, these characters are more powerful than 90-something% of the characters in the game. So, there's people putting tons of effort and time into unlocking legendaries that are way worse than any of these 3 characters. So, you might as well just, do what you got to do to get these new characters. I will say that, if you're a free-to-play player, because some free-to-play players have been asking me, should I blow my stash of cores on refreshing this event energy? And I would say, this is not a Kestrel kind of situation where, aren't you glad, by the way, if you're a free-to-play player, you did go all in on Kestrel, because now she's premium orb exclusive. The new players that are going to be starting the future are screwed with that. But, here, she's a very good character, and there's also some very good characters in the event orb. So I think she's worth going for. But, for me, I'm very happy because I have an endgame roster, and this is a team that I don't know exactly where they slot yet. I really think they're probably going to be better on more offense, but I just threw them on defense and different teams for now, just to sort of plug some holes, upgrade some spots, give a different look to opponents. It's not clear to me what they do. They certainly are very good in the Doom raid, but I didn't really need the help there. It's kind of overkill for the skill section, but they're very good. So this is also a new investment, and an investment I'm making regardless of whether it's streaming or not. In other words, I would go hard on this team even if I wasn't streaming. And the same thing is the case with Infinity Watch. And that, just to be clear, that isn't the case for every team. This is a team where, man, if I wasn't streaming, I'd be really trying to look for excuses to not have invested heavily in this team, or defense-only team. The only good thing is Datamine suggests that now you can use them you're going to be able to use them on the nodes that have the Defenders tag and Gamma. But man, that's a small benefit for a pretty crappy team here in terms of their usage outside of War Defense, where they're fantastic. I just don't, these War Defense teams tend to have a limited shelf life, so it's very hard for me to get excited about investing in them. When you look through the rest of my roster, my upgrades have been much more minor. And so, for example, I haven't upgraded AIM at all this month. Just basically a worthless team at this point in the game. Very limited use, useful for certain campaign nodes. As Guardians, haven't really upgraded. Eventually, I'll get Thor to level 80 just because I use him on War Defense with Wave 1 still. Black Order are what they are. I haven't upgraded them since DD4. I haven't even put Blue ISO on them. Eventually I'll put Blue ISO, I guess, on Thanos and Maw. I just feel like as soon as we get some new Mystic choices, they're going to get dropped from the team, so I'm not too excited about investing heavily there. Brotherhood's another team. I did bring Blob and Toad up to level 80. I'll probably bring Juggernaut up at some point as well, just because I use them with Doom on defense a lot of times. But, otherwise, this is a relevant team, but not an important team anymore. Defenders are worthless. Fantastic Four, I've put nothing into here. Invisible Woman's just sort of like, I have up because I was racing in DD4 at the time. She's just okay. She's already fallen out of her brief stint as meta relevant right after Doom and Surfer came out. Guardians are worthless in the game. I did bring Drax to level 80 because he still has plug and play value in War. But otherwise, the team is completely worthless, obviously, other than Gamora, who's really not in the team. Heroes for Hire, we already talked about. I just have always advocated that unless you're super endgame, finished GD4 many months ago, and are taking war very, very seriously, you should just be putting your spare gear on Heroes for Hire. Hydra is really fallen off in value recently. Just due to the fact that we have more and more teams and power creep. Zemo's still good, but not as great as he was 3 months ago. But still very relevant. I haven't put Blue ISO on him. Eventually I will, but I have to keep Grenadiers higher damage. I did bring up Grenadier and Red Skull to level 80. These minions really I don't think are worth it. It's on my to-do list just because I'm running out of stuff to do, so to speak. All right, we talked about Infinity Watch, Inhumans. These are the three that matter right here. I have brought Crystal up to level 80. She's relevant. Sometimes people use her counter heroes in the Heroes for Hire counter. I don't, but you could. These two characters are still quite good, though not what they once were. They used to be, two of the very best characters in the game, right? Kree are a waste of time. Now it's great that we have Philavel. I am on one of the outside lanes for Gamma, so they're useful there. And then when you look through the rest of my roster, let's see, Marauders are really power crapped. I've brought Strife up to level 80 because that helps a little bit for War Defense, but they're just not an important team anymore. I usually drop Sabretooth anyway. Emma Frost, of course, is going to be farmable, but her best days are behind her. I'm sure she'll get her own team at some point. I haven't upgraded her in quite some time. Let's see, moving here to the Mercenaries. Really haven't upgraded them much. I will bring up Merc Ryguard to level 80 at some point. I did bring up Killmonger because I use him in like gamma rays and stuff, and whatever. Not a very important team anymore. It's really gone down in just the last few months since the Skill Military rework, which is right here. That team I have brought Merc Soldier up to level 80 and Yelena. That's helped a little bit. Yelena probably should go to gear 14. That's something if I find out that it's definitely, if we confirm that it's red gear for DD5, I'll probably bring Yelena up to gear tier 14 just because she's a very good damager and she's not that expensive to bring up. So that's, on my list of sorts. Let's see here. Let's see. Power Armor has no power. You have no power here, Power Armor. A team that I haven't worked on in a long time, just totally worthless at high levels. Pimtech also worthless other than for how they do in Gamma. Eventually I'll try to bring up Stature and Yellow Jacket at least to level 80 just to, without putting gear on them, just so they're a little better on the Gamma nodes. But right now my alliance mates help me get past that one mini boss, and then I can handle the rest of the nodes fine. Ravager, worthless. Shield are still worthless. You can create some sort of team with Kestrel or with the Secret Avengers, but just to be crystal clear on that, that is those new characters carrying a bunch of dead weight. Okay, Kestrel plus Nick Fury plus 3 random shield is just like a waste of Kestrel, in my opinion, on war. But if that works for you at your level, more power to you. It's just very easy to beat. It has no way of removing debuffs, etc. Let's see here. What else do we got? Shadowlands, still very valuable team. I had already brought these characters up to level 80 before my last roster video. Definitely a good team. Eventually, you could probably get them all to G14, although they're starting to see tiny amount of power creep. Sinister Six never really were the team that you hoped they would be. I'm going to bring up Swarm and Electro to level 80 since they're the big damagers here. But I mean, it's just I'm at the point now working on war defense because I've already got all my war offense characters to level 80. So whatever. I mean, I haven't got characters like Ultron and Namor and Drax, like the plug and play offensive character stuff. So we're on to war defense, which is literally the last thing on my roster that I am going to spend a lot of time on. What else do we got here? Supernatural, probably an investment I regret making. I did this right when I moved to Diamond, just so I had another offense team. Wanted to set an example for members there. That all my teams would be up to snuff because I'm the smallest account in the roster. Symbiotes have been really power crept. This is a team that, I've been throwing Blue ISO onto this team, as you could see, but it's just so I can have an easier time in the Doom raids daily. But like right now I don't have to. I can one-shot the nodes, which is nice, and I save myself some energy every day. But they're very much seeing the power creep. This is a big team, a 700k team, and it's 726 or something, and it struggles in difficulty. 734 and struggles with the Doom raid. Very much struggles in bio. Just barely makes it through. On node one of these characters immediately gets one shot, even with level 3 Blue ISO. So this is a team hopefully will get replaced at some point soon, because you're seeing the power creep. Uncanny, another super power crept the team, not very good anymore. This is a sign of a very old infographic, is one that rates those characters very highly. A lot of out of date infographics and guidance out there. Wakandans, never were very good. Although Shuri still has value. Wave 1 Avengers, as I've said elsewhere, now that Black Widow's gone, they've been getting a lot weaker. I still do run them sometimes with Coulson or Captain Marvel. You can run. I've seen people. You could put Sharon Carter in there or Captain Sam, although they have really no synergy with the team. Very little synergy with the team. They are Avengers, but their synergy, the Secret Avengers synergy, is with skill. X Factor, still loving this investment. They're a very, very good team. There's going to be a 5th member at some point, so I'm sure this team will get better, right? This is a team that you haven't seen the last X Factor member, and they're also obviously a legendary unlock, but they're not the best team. These are now 8-month-old Longshot Shatterstar, 8 months old. So I unlocked them back in December. So like any other 8-month-old team, you're starting to see a little bit of power creep. No longer top of the meta; they're a rung down. X-Force definitely been very heavily power crept. I brought this whole team to level 80, and they're fine, but I use them more for cleanup and war, punching across against subpar teams. I mean, how big is my team? And it's still just sort of not that relevant at my level. Whereas my X-Force, they're up here somewhere 6 something, right? Or 576. They're barely relevant at my level. Barely relevant at that. And then Young Avengers are basically worthless, other than Squirrel Girl, who's a nice plug-and-play character who I will be bringing to level 80 just because I throw her into war offense and war defense because she's got the fastest unconditional cleanse in the game. And her and Emma Frost do it, I think, 120 speed. So, look, here's where I am with my roster. In some ways, it's sort of, you may be saying, okay, it's kind of ho-hum. Well, yeah, I'm not at a spot right now where there's a lot to push or to build. What gets me excited in this game is the times where I've had the most fun is when I was racing to be one of the first people to complete DD4, when I was racing to build my roster up for, I remember when I first joined Platinum 1 or first joined Diamond Alliance, when I was first trying to figure out the Doom Raid. That's all very exciting stuff. Now I'm in a spot where it's like, okay, everything's on farm. There's been no Dark Dimension for a while. I do think DD5 will be exciting. I'm sure when Doom Raid 2 comes out, that's going to be an exciting development. But for right now, it's very hard for me to get excited about putting any effort into this bottom half of my roster. Ultimus is a niche character who has some uses. But, am I ever going to build up my 7 Red Star Aim Researcher, 6 Red Star Kingpin, 6 Red Star Infector, Ravager, Boomer? Jessica Jones is useful-ish on war defense, but you really want to bring her, do I really want to bring her up to G14 or G15 to use her on war defense? Very hard to get excited about that or any of these garbage Kree, Hand, Shield, Wakandan, AIM, Hydra minions. They're of very limited value. And so, I'm going to continue to work on the characters that I am using, save my gear, be ready for DD5. So, this is for me, even at my level, even in the Diamond Wars and all that, even, being the smallest guy in my alliance, in terms of collection power by a large margin, I'm still sort of saving up for the right thing. I think it's better to be hoarding to make sure you have the ability to defeat bottlenecks, rather than just spending because you can. I will say I don't really gain any joy out of having a bigger number. That doesn't really do anything for me. One thing I have been doing more of, though, is I've been buying every single G13 I can get my hands on. I'm sick of making videos for you guys and running out of these things. And this is a stupid bottleneck that needs to be removed from the game. Can't say it enough times in my videos. So what I've been doing this month is, you can see when I do these gold, high roller milestones, I hit exactly 2.7 million every time to max them out. And I'm spending more and more of that gold, not on improving my roster, but on buying those stupid uniques, which ultimately, Scopely's losing out because I'd rather spend it on my roster. I just don't care enough to upgrade some of these useless characters because I'd rather deal with the silly bottlenecks they put in the game like G13. So there you have it, guys. I do think lots of exciting characters to invest in if you haven't already. I do think Infinity Watch is worth the investment. I think Secret Avengers are a very, very strong team who will be good in a lot of game modes. And if you don't already have solutions for everything, they're going to be a great solution to a lot of different things. So definitely a good team. I've had players ask me, how are they going to do in skill nodes for, alpha and that sort of thing. I'm sure they're going to be very, very good wherever you put them. So lots of good new teams coming out, new characters that are going to be useful to newer players. All right, guys. So if you like this video, smash that like button. Subscribe to this channel. If you got comments on my roster or anything else or about the game, leave them below or go to my Discord. That's linked below. Lots of great conversations there. Also, check out my Twitch stream. I try to stream most weeknights, depending on the time, but usually sometime between 8 p.m. Eastern and midnight Eastern, I try to stream there.